What's up, traders? Welcome to the Day Trading Show. Today, I've got Tom, James, and Evan back with me, and we're sharing our favorite trading strategies. If you want to see us trade these strategies, you're going to come check out ASFX TV. There's a link in the description for you to get a 3-day free trial. But let me stop here and save it all for the episode. So put your phone down, get off TradingView, tune in. You're going to love this one. Enjoy. All right, boys, we're back. So today we're talking about favorite trading strategies. Everybody's going to be watching this video, probably assuming that some of us are going to say the A2. Since the A2 is the new strategy, Tom and I just ran the webinar last month, and a lot of people are now trading this strategy with the indicator public. So it's very exciting. But I think that there's still going to be a lot of value to be had here, especially I want to hear from James and I want to hear from Evan. I want to hear what you guys are really looking for when you are coming to the desk every day to say, this is my favorite trade. So before we get into this, Tom, I want you to take the mic for a second. Can you speak on the importance of having that one good trade, that strategy that you could go to that's like your bread and butter? Can you speak on that before we get into this?
Yeah, so for me, I think it is important to just know where your edge lies, ultimately, first and foremost. And I think if you've got that trade that you feel most comfortable with, you're most confident with, then you can always look to exploit that in the market conditions that are around. And for me, it's very much at the minute the A2, but more specifically the sort of the breakout and retest. I'm finding in my trading that we're getting the extra confluence of structure along with the EMAs and all the usual ASFX entries. So yeah, having that you can fall back on to help make a living is definitely key for full-time traders and traders that are looking to compound that money time after time.
Does the mustache help identify those breakouts and retests?
Absolutely. It is a must. Absolutely.
A must. Okay, so that's a great point, bro. That I make jokes, but that's a great point and very well said. So as a trader is looking to find their go-to strategy, I'm curious, Evan, share how you found that go-to strategy and tell us what you're looking for most right now. And like, was it before ASFX? Was it once you joined ASFX? Like, where was the light bulb on like, I could just trade this. This could be it for me.
I think it would be like Tom, like the A2, just the width structure, because D1 is presenting all over the markets, but I find that with the A2, when you can get clean structure, because like we've said, you can find A2s all hours of the day, but you don't want to take every single one of them. And when we can find good structure in a retest or a breakout off key levels and zones, it makes it a lot. You don't have to think as much. It's, oh, I know I like that. I'm going to take that trade. Rather than you see 30 signals, which one should I choose? You don't know which one's going to win, but I feel more confident when I have structure on my side. And when Tom, I think he said the big three, when you have trend, the L50, and you can have structure on top of that, it makes it a lot easier on your mind and your decision making.
Definitely. And before we go any further, I should say to everybody, Evan dropped a couple of terms, Tom has as well, that maybe you've never heard before, like the L50. If you're new to us in the way that we communicate about charts, you should come check out ASFX TV. I'm going to put a link in the description. You get a 3-day free trial with this link for being a listener of the podcast. And we want you to come not only see us trade live, where you can watch Tom and James in the London session, me and Evan in the New York session, but we want you to check out our recordings of our previous trading sessions too. So you'll see Evan identifying those structural levels and using discretion to find which one he wants to be in. And same thing with Tom and James and myself. Now, that key word discretion is important. So James, your strategy with the D1 being, I think, your favorite entry, right? That requires discretion. So talk to us about, like, especially in the take profit, how and the getting out of the trades that are losers quickly, how are you applying discretion to do that really well?
Sure. So I think I would say I'm quite a discretionary trader compared to most. So I've been trading now for full time for about 2.5 years. So I've the first couple I focused on the D1, but then also a bit with the A1 and the D2. But I watched a podcast and I've shifted about a year ago to completely only, maybe the beginning of this year, actually, the year's gone by pretty quickly, to only trading the D1 system. And I watched a podcast on Traderline with Tom Canfield, and he was speaking specifically about only having one entry and exit system. He was saying that he's got one entry and exit system. He trades on the daily chart or if it's not coming up that frequently, to the 30-minute chart. And if he really wants to get down to it, to the 5 and the 10-minute chart, you were saying, and you can make a hell of a living. So that like really resonated with me, that you only need one entry and exit system to make a hell of a living day trading, but with the discretion. So I used to trade. So for the people that are listening, the D1 is a system created by Austin, backtested by Austin, and used on an everyday basis. It uses the 50-minute chart for the intraday bias, and then we go down to the 1 minute and look for 1 minute divergence to signal a change in market structure and direction on the 1 minute chart. So that can be quite discretionary, like with the entries. The reason being is because with the A1, it's either an entry or not. With the D1, it is you kind of have to, because the 1 minute chart, there's so many more candles, you have to have discretion of when to enter. But recently, I've been using the 5 minute to get in, and that's also a bit of discretion. I'm using the 5 minute along with the D1 to get in, as you guys know. So yeah, I think discretion. You definitely got to find what works for you. As every single look, you guys are trading the A2, you guys like that. I like the D1 A1 combo. So you got to find what works for you.
I think that's very good, Tom.
I've got a question, and it's probably more towards Austin and Evan. I'd probably say is, you've recently switched to sort of the A2, and you're talking about having that go-to trade. I definitely feel like now, since you've passed your 300K, that the A2 is your go-to. That's your stop. That's the one that you're taking. You've pretty much passed everything with that this year. When did you determine that you were making that switch over to your go-to trade, and how did that come about?
I probably would say a couple of months into using the trade tracker. Once I was using the tracker and I could see what entries I was trading best, the trade tracker is what we use in the Black Shirt Club. For everybody that's listening, in the mentorship group, everybody gets a spreadsheet where we track all of your trades and the entries. We track by signal, we track by pair, by time of day, so we can break that down. So just like the guys in the Black Shirt Club that found value in that over the last few months, I found value in it as well, of what to do less of. And for me, it was clearly the D1 and the A1 that were just costing me too much money, and the A2 was working so well, and it was so much easier for me. So I feel like it was seeing it in the tracker that then allowed me to say, okay, we need to make a pivot here. And then I cut out Forex pairs after I cut out certain entry signals. You know what I mean? Like, I've just done less, and it's helped me make more money.
Yeah, I feel like you've really narrowed down to one entry and like 2, maybe 3 pairs over the last few months, and seen a big increase in your returns, and obviously the success that you've had at the back end of this year.
Yeah. I'm curious to know what Evan thinks about this. Evan, why are you focused mainly on the A2 right now and not the other stuff?
Well, I think, first of all, I trade pretty similar to you would say.
Yeah.
And so when I was, you and Tom introduced the A2, I started looking into it. And like James said, with the discretion of the D1, you can enter a little bit early, a little late. How's the 15-minute look? How's the structure, the scent? There's just so many more things you got to consider. When I first heard the A2, I just digested it really well. And then the more I saw it, the more I studied it myself, and you guys would talk about it, I just found I liked it a lot more than the D1, and I traded it better than the D1. So I just ran with it.
I love it. So let's talk about take profit, since I asked James this a little bit already. Tom, with your trading right now, is majority of the entries A2 off of structure? Is that the over 50% of the trades, say, in the last month and a half?
I would probably say 95% of my A2s are definitely off structure. So the 6 sort of key levels that we look at regularly from a day trading perspective. So intraday ranges, higher than lows, yesterday's high, yesterday's lows, weekly highs, weekly lows. I'm looking for breakouts, strong breakouts of them levels, pulling back, retesting. That's where we're getting the A2. And then I'm looking to take that in the direction of the trend.
Yeah.
So yeah, very much.
Why
95% of my trades are that at the minute.
So what's with talk to us about why you like the take profit of the strategy, the management of the strategy, and why has that become like your favored management style right now?
So with the way I'm managing my A2s, the way that I'm managing them now has changed since when I first started trading them. And right. Again, that's come about because of the way that we track the stats within the Trader Improvement Program. And I was winning between 65 and 68% of my A2s, but I was losing money. And the reason why was because my winners were smaller than my losers. And that was because I was finding that a lot of the time I'd take 50% off at 1R and then it'd either pull back and stop me out. Whereas if I was taking a loss, I'd end up taking a full loss. So it was around about 40%. And I was like, I've got a profitable strategy here if I just take everything off at 1R. And I studied James within working alongside him now and obviously studying him work with him for ASFX. He's very, very good at taking everything off very quickly and just compounding them wins. And I was like, this would work for me if I've got a 65 to 68% win rate. If I take everything off at 1R, I'll be profitable. So for now, I'm just taking everything off at 1R. And the other thing that I really like about this is I can just set and forget pretty much. And it's all automated. The only time I ever need to do any management is if the 8 and 21 shift against me. So it just makes my job a lot easier and less emotional, less emotions, less decisions to make in throughout the day. So it suits me a lot more.
Has the show, The Inside the Mind of the Kaizen Trader, really become the A2 structural show on ASFX TV?
Yeah, we do. We talk an awful lot about taking trades off structure, and yeah, probably all of my streams actually on ASFX TV. We, in fact, it was only the other day where we called out quite a few trades and managed to execute them. So yeah, it's good to share the analysis with the ASFX team and call them out live and obviously let them capture some of the wins as well, which is good.
Pays for the membership with one structural trade. It's $30 a month. You know what I mean? Like, it's so cheap. We really just want to keep pushing this out to everybody because I know there's some of you guys that are listening that are still not subscribed, still not signed up. So we want you to use the link. Just go to asfx.tv. That's the website, www.asfx.tv. You can get the free trial right there. James, were you about to say something?
Yeah, I was going to say with regards, I know, so with me, I take all my trades at 1R just to let everyone know that that's what I do. And I find that works for me. Sometimes a 0.97R and then Austin's on my case. Yeah, just, I think people get a misconception also about 1R. So you get your risk, if you're taking your trades at 1R, but you're pulling your losers at before your stop loss. So let's say you're risking 0.5, or let's make it easier. Let's say you're risking 1% on the trade, and then as Tom was saying, the 8 and 21 shift against you, you pull it before your stop loss. Your true risk reward ratio also changes because you're taking your winners at 1R or close to 1R, and then your losers are not sometimes half of what you actually risk. So your true risk reward ratio is actually when you actually close the trades, not where you're actually taking profits, if that makes sense.
It definitely makes sense. Evan, do you want to get in on this and speak on your take profit strategy with the A2, like how you've been managing those trades? Is it different?
No, it's pretty similar. I don't have, as of late, I didn't in the beginning have like a take profit set at 1R that I could just set it and forget it. I would manage it.
Yeah.
But it was interesting how many times I would see it go 1.1, 1.2R, and it comes back to entry. And it's like the best thing to do was just close it full. You don't need to try to get 2R, 3R. If your size is right and you just keep bagging the wins, it was like, that's unbelievable that turned around at 1R. It looked good to continue for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
So just taking your 1R, coming back tomorrow.
Or what about the times where like it'll throw 1R, come back to entry? You could have bagged that. It'll throw another entry. That one might go like 2R, 3R. You could have bagged that. So sometimes if you do this approach of like get in, take profit, get out, get in, take profit, you can actually hit the same pair, same direction multiple times in a single day.
Yeah, and I also found a few times where if you're trading into the New York Open when I am at 9:30, it would pin to my entry, stop me out, and then continue higher.
Exactly.
So it's just, I'm going to close it full because it's a volatile asset. I'm just going to close it and look for re-entry later on.
I feel like a lot of people would make more money in trading if they realized their gains. I bet you a lot of guys that struggle with trading have been in trades that are in profit, but whether because they're greedy or they just don't have rules that they're following, they stay in those winning trades too long. There is such a thing as being in a winning trade to the point where then it becomes a loser. Too long, if you don't lock your stop loss, it can definitely become a loser, you know?
Yeah, well, for me, just what I've experienced as well is like, all of us here, right, just to clear things up, we are intraday traders. We're not swing traders. We're not holding trades overnight, right? Correct. Unless Austin takes a trade on Bitcoin and then holds it through the Asian session. Right. But yeah, so we day traders. So when it comes to day trading, we're not like, unless you're a swing trader like Paul Tudor Jones, he's going to get that one winner that makes up his whole year, something like that. We're not holding trades. To be able to have those massive risk reward trades, you're going to have to hold for multiple days. But because we're day traders, you're really going to see a trade that goes like 5R on an intraday trade, right? it's just not going to really happen. I mean, would you guys agree?
It's more rare for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you agree, Tom, or do you disagree?
No, I agree. I think it's all relative, and it's all relative to the time frame that you trade. I think, and for us, we've just found our edge and what works, and we execute it and trade it, and we adapt accordingly. And I think the adaptation is something that I want to ask you about. Obviously, we've had the webinar last month now, and a lot of people know that we have counter trend A2s, we have in trend A2s.
Yeah.
In regards to management, do you adapt your trade management to whether that's counter trend or full trend? Do you let your full trending ideas run a little bit more? How are you managing your A2s depending on the different entries that we have for the A2?
That's a good question. Not off the top of my head am I like consciously thinking like, oh, this is not in full trend, I should get out of this sooner. Maybe I am, like in the counter trend trades, like if I'm bearish Bitcoin, but then we get a long entry, I'll take it, but I'm going to get out of that quicker than normal because my gut bias is down and I'm buying it. You know what I'm saying? So that's a situation where maybe I am getting out in full at 1R. But then if we're in a full trending trade and my fundamental bias agrees with the technicals and there's no news and blah, 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 it all looks good, then I am going to try to stay in that trade longer. So yeah, I think it does matter if you're trading in full trend or if you're going counter trend, how you should be maybe being aggressive in counter trend management, especially because like, look at our back testing, right? In the webinar, and then the webinar actually turned into a course update for those of you that are already signed up for the starter pack, or maybe you're thinking about joining. We put the webinar in there for everyone to see these stats and learn the A2. And in the stats, we showed that these counter trend signals, the Fs, the Gs, the Es, they aren't always losing signals, but they aren't as strong and as profitable as the A and the B signals, those full trending EMA signals, that in trend idea. I mean, Tom, I'm pretty sure you said there was one signal, it was I think the BA2s, they are profitable on the 5-minute on like almost every asset we've backtested so far. We're not done, but like right there, that just speaks more to my point. The full trending ideas are going to win at a higher rate. You're going to make more money. So it's almost like if you're going to do counter trend, you got to be more aggressive in taking profit to make sure you're not taking losses there, you know?
Yeah. And I think the two that stand out to me, and the reason for asking this question is, think back to the last two trades that you took to pass phase 1 of your 200 and your phase 2 of 200, the Bitcoin and the oil, I believe.
Yep.
They were both A2s that you let run in trend, right?
Yeah.
And they were both your biggest winners of both phases of them challenges.
Perfect L50s, perfect EMAs, structural levels are broken, and I'm getting in on the retest. It's the same trade, just on two different assets, but it's the same trade we've been talking about this whole episode. That's the A2 that is the highest probability A2. Like if we could backtest that, right, specifically breakout retest A2s only, and then only apply the filter of the high, the in-trend ideas, you probably are going to see 80, 90% on that backtesting on the win rate. It would be insane, you know, because they're just so good. So yeah, I think that there's one other piece I guess we should talk about too with the A2. And I think you guys are starting to see this more now through my trading. When you're trying to get funded, some of these A2s, you want to look at them and say, I'm going to stay in this longer because it's a perfect L50, because it's in trend, because if I leave, like what I did on the oil trade, I locked my stop once I hit 1R. So the worst that comes is I wash, but it moved far enough that the 21 EMA had come under my entry. So my stop was above the 21 EMA for the short position, which means it would have to break the 21 EMA to stop me out. So then I can say to myself, if I just stay in this, right, and it holds this 8 and 21, and we go ADR, average daily range, I get 4R, I pass the challenge. If I'm wrong, I wash, and I got to keep going, and I got, 10 days left on the challenge. I felt like that was worth the risk with 10 days left, running out of time. You should take those shots, shoot the half-court shot. It's risk-free at that point. So that's just one other thing I want to add in there on the when am I staying in. Sometimes I'm not taking profit at all because I'm like, mathematically, leave, go risk-free and leave it in. We can make and get this done. If I was funded, I would never have done that.
Yeah, makes sense.
Good questions, Tommy. Last thought. On ASFX TV, I feel like one thing we do really well is we mix in some of the like psychology tips that go with trading these strategies that we've mentioned today. So for everybody that wants to learn the strategies, the starter pack is where you want to go. Go to our website, go to the education tab, and take the starter pack. All three of the guys here took the starter pack and now have even helped contribute to their updates of the starter pack. So there's a lot of knowledge there. But can we speak on like this, why we like these strategies in terms of psychology, like what they do for our mental. Why are they easy versus other things we've done? Anybody want to take a whack at that?
Yeah, I'll personally go. So I think it's because they're simple. They clearly define entry and exits. They have clear entries and clear exits. And I think most thing for trading is that I think your system should be pretty simple, so that you can focus on the psychology and not be, shit, is this an entry or not? Rather just focused on, cool, taking the entry and following the entry rules and the exit rules, and letting it take it from there.
Yeah, that's well said. Do you want to add anything, Tom or Evan?
I think James has hit the nail on the head there for me, is the fact that I think of my previous trading endeavors, and the big standout to me between them and any of the ASFX entries, A1, D1, A2, D2, whatever that is the fact that it enables me to react instead of forecast, because we have a clear defined set of rules. Entries are predetermined, stops are predetermined. Exits are predetermined to a degree. We all know exactly how and when we're going to manage that trade once we're in it. That makes things a lot easier for me and everybody else from an emotional perspective, because then it's just a case of reacting to your plan. And then it just becomes a case of discipline.
I love that. Evan, you want to throw anything in on that?
Yeah, I think it's just the simplicity of it. I could place the trade on the 15-minute. I could walk away, come back every 15 minutes. Did we shift down? No? Okay. I'll come back in another 15 minutes until we get to 1R. It shifts against me. There's nothing for me to do. There's nothing telling me that this is a loser. Even if it's in drawdown, you're looking for two things. You're looking for 1R or a shift against you to take size off. There's no, the L50 on the 1 minute gone to the sell zone. There's divergence building. It's very simple. Are we at 1R or do we shift down? Okay, I'll sit in then.
Yeah, that's perfect. So I love everything you guys said. The simplicity, the management, the entry, it's all part of the process that we have now kind of fallen in love with. All of us really are, even when, James is really the only one we need to convert over. But even when he's looking for his D1s, we're all telling him, oh, there's already an A2 in there, brother. We got a better price than you. Right, Tom?
James gets reminded in the Black Shirt Club every single
day,
time.
Every day. So listen, everybody, we appreciate you tuning in for this episode. Make sure you check out ASFX TV. Come trade with us. Come watch us trade. We'll make money together. You'll learn these strategies that we've come to. I don't like to use the word master, but I mean, the P&L doesn't lie. So I think we are at that point now where the A2 has become something that we can say has been mastered, and now we're going to continue to tweak and see if it can be improved. But it's a winning strategy, and we want to share that with you. So come check out ASFX TV. You can watch me and the boys here every day of the week through the New York and the London session. So make sure you guys check that out. Boys, I appreciate you very much. To everybody who listened, thank you very much as well. Make sure you're subscribed. Leave us a review or a comment. We really appreciate that. And we'll see you all in the next episode. Thanks, everybody.